man. He had a rocky path through life, but he tried to do the right thing.
The thing I remember about John was whenever I saw him at family gatherings, he had such a look of joy on his face. You could tell it just emanated from him how important family was to him, and being surrounded by the people that he loved and that he knew loved him meant the world to him.
Well, we were kind of orphans, so we all inherited the same thing. Well, he married into a big family.
Thank God for going over and fighting for all of us.
Yes.
And letting us free.
I'd say I met John in 1970, I think through UPath, if my memory serves me correct. John
You
and
did.
Angela and John and I all lived in the same apartment complex.
That's where he met Angela.
And Dana.
And Dana,
Dana.
right.
And Pam.
And
Pam visited you
yes.
in school.
I made crepes. I don't know why that is stuck in my mind all these years, but you came to my apartment and we made crepes, and I've never made them again.
Neither have I.
And I don't know why we were doing it in the first place, but we were all young.
And I remember we did a lot of things as couples, John and Angela and my John and I, and a lot of things with our kids. We were pretty poor then, so we'd get together. And the women would play Scrabble in the living room, and the men would play poker in the dining room. And I guess I just remember John as a good friend and a loving father and a kind person. And I, was out of touch with him for the last so many years, so I don't know what was going on then, but I think it's important for the boys to know that he was a very attentive and hands-on dad.
Loved him very much.
And that's how I'll remember him.
Yeah, he was a really kind man, and he was there for my father, who was his brother, all the time. My dad took a lot of good care of him. They took care of each other. And John was strong during my dad's illness, and he was ever by his side, very brave. So, it was important for me and my brothers and sisters to make sure to be there for him. And I'm just happy that he's at peace and we can be reunited with his brother.
He saw his mother out of this world, and she gave him away, basically. But he saw her out.
The thing I remember most about John was how I used to think, why can't my dad just be more like me? My dad was so much more strict, and John would I would always be in trouble, and Uncle John would always be there to deflect my dad's wrath.
Right.
There was so many times where my dad would just laid it and go, God, why can't you be just more like Uncle John? And we related on so many levels about so many different things, like sports, and I just remember all of us living at 8th and Howard, and how it was like one big family house. And my dad was at work, John was always there, and if John wasn't there, my dad was there, and it was like such a good
Never ever
memories.
yelled at me. He was never mad at me. He never raised his voice. Not unlike your father.
Yeah,
He was
they
always
were
mad
full-
at me
yeah.
and always raising his voice. John never ever would said a cross word to me.
Yeah, and when this was when my dad got sick and got cancer, John, I remember living at the boatyard. John would always take me up there to see my dad. And it was like, full circle. It's like I couldn't be there.
This is where John wanted to lay, and he sure got a beautiful view. What he wanted to do.
The day he passed away, it was amazing how we all came together. And it was like, it was very spiritual.
There's a lot of love in that room.
Amazing amount of love. It was
Yeah, there was a lot of
incredible. It was incredible, and he passed away so peacefully. It was just, I know it sounds strange to say, but it was a beautiful day. He had so many people. Dana came walking in the room and said, John, Dana's here. He opened his eyes really big and he tried to sit up. And Micah says, I'm jealous. You never did that right.
Yes, he tried to sit up when I came and he waved goodbye to me. When I left, he could barely move his arms, but he managed to wave goodbye to me through the window.
Blood was coming out of your nose? When was that?
Well, what I remember about John is he taught me how to play chess with those bolts and nuts. The chess pieces that he made.
Poor man's chest.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I
awesome
stayed with
chess
them
set
a lot.
on them nuts and bolts.
I just wish he would have been around last year. If you did have big families, that would have really took that.
He had his demons.
I haven't talked to him in 10 years until about 3 weeks ago. I can't even understand him when I was talking to him. So just
I think he was troubled. Vietnam followed him his whole adult life. So I think he did what he thought he had to do.
so you just need to be careful.
I think it's good to remember that we had him as long as we did and were able to spend that many years with him, and that, you know, in the big scheme of everything in life, that we had that much time and that we got to say goodbye. Yes. Not everybody gets that many years. That I think Micah.
Oh my gosh.
I just did what John told me.
These two, Micah and Sierra, for 7 weeks, were doted on him. Were there for him every
I was
day.
talking shit to him too.
Well, that's what I say. Micah shoots from the hip. Okay, she says it like it is.
He needed it though. He would laugh.
Oh,
he
they-
thought
yeah.
it was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad he let us be there.
You're his little munchkin. Oh, you always were his little munchkin. I'm forever grateful to both of you. And to you.
I was honored. He's the least. If he was me, he would be doing it for me.
Glad I got just so you can buy. Yeah.
When my older brother died and left me the oldest, now John died and just left me.
What are you doing?
If you want to, I don't know. And I can't.
She's right there.
I believe that they'll wait till we leave and they'll probably cover the grave. Unless you want to signal them. They're just waiting.
She's right there.
I would like to do it now. You're going to cover the grave.
I know.
Right here, baby. Right here.
Megan?
Wow.
Yeah.
Now when you see my name, Patricia Bond, that's who it
Patty.
is.
Shiny.
65 years old, it's the first dog he's had.
Israel, watch out, son. You're gonna blow up a hole. Watch. That's like what I'm saying.
get you some more.
Good debate, really.